up, boss?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to season 2 of the Wisdom Walkers podcast, where I'm your host, Javante Blackman. Just letting everybody know again that this is a promo hub for my new book, Walking with Wisdom. And in the building today, I got a tremendous guest all the way from the 305, Miami, Florida. Miss TraDonn Glover is in the building. What's going on, TraDonn?
Hey y'all, happy to be here, happy to support.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, tell the people a bit about yourself, TraDonn. I'm gonna let you have the floor with this. Tell the people a little bit about you, what you do, and just where you are right now.
Okay, my name is TraDonn, everybody. I currently have a nonprofit organization. It's called the T. Monet Foundation. Founded on April 30th, 2021. So I've been doing this about 2 years now. It's been an amazing experience, and it's geared towards assisting adolescents transitioning into adulthood. So definitely excited about that.
That is what's
Of
up.
course, I went to film, so I had to let y'all know we
Shout
are
out to the
Rattlers.
Rattlers. Shout out to the Rattlers. Shout out to the Rattlers. Okay, yes. So the T. Monet Foundation is more than just a scholarship hub. It is a place where, like you said, adolescents can transition into adulthood and get some of the resources that they need. And the work that she's doing within her city of Miami is beyond phenomenal. Like, this is mind blowing. It's trailblazing, and I'm excited to have TraDonn as a guest on the podcast. So, icebreaker question for you. Gotta break the ice so that everybody is comfortable. Finger licking or snappers?
Snappers.
Why?
Because I feel like finger licking is so overrated. Like, my grandma could cook better food than that. Snappers chicken always go ahead every time. You can buy it for any function. Love it, okay?
Exactly. It be that crack that's on top.
Yes, it's the lemon pepper on the top.
Lemon pepper crack on top.
You gotta make sure you cough too when you eat it.
Exactly. Tell them I need extra crack on that thing. Tell them I need the extra crack. All right, so let's dive into our questions. Question number 1 for you. What does wisdom mean to you, and who is the first person that comes to mind when you think of wisdom?
So wisdom means having experience and knowledge and just being wise. And the first person that comes to mind is my great grandma. And I still have her to this day, thank God.
Amen.
You know, our grandparents and great grandparents, great great grandparents have gone through a lot in life. So they're able to, give us the knowledge and wisdom in, walking in our own lives, because they already been through things that we're going through now. So
Right.
definitely my great grandma, and also my mom and dad as well.
I like that. The older generation always has the gems for us youngins. Us chicks. Like,
Yes.
they always
Yes.
provide, they always give us the game. And just to have them still around is a phenomenal blessing, because some people are really just doing this from scratch. They are the trailblazers. They are the ground tillers, and really setting the trajectory for their families. And they one day will be the great grandmas and great grandfathers that their great grandchildren will look up to. So, for you to have that is definitely a blessing, and I know that you are taking advantage of it. So,
Definitely grateful, definitely.
for sure. As I've echoed time and time again, my mom is the personification of wisdom. Wisdom has always been how you apply what you know. And to apply it out of habit from the experiences that you've had is exactly what wisdom is, and exactly how I try to walk with it every single day. All right, let's go to question 2. We recently spoke on your experiences with post-grad depression. One of the things that I've really been adamant about with this season of the podcast is helping us understand that we grieve more than loved ones, right? We grieve opportunities, we grieve experiences, we grieve time. And you and I have had conversations about post-grad depression and how you were able to navigate through that. So my question is, what wisdom did you receive during that time and apply that helped you get out of that pit of post-grad depression?
Honestly, it was nothing but God. Cause listen, I was going through it, okay?
I
And
feel you.
post grad depression is something that a lot of people do not speak on.
Hmm.
We get out of college and we're like, okay, what's next? Or I have this degree. What am I
Hmm.
gonna do? Like, and you think everything is supposed to come fast,
Right.
and it does not work like that. When you get into the real world, it's like, they didn't tell me this, you
Right.
know. So I would definitely say what I've learned is to continue to keep faith.
Hmm.
Because, even though you don't see it right now, that's where your faith comes in. Like, okay,
Absolutely.
I don't see it, but I'm going to keep believing, I'm going to keep trusting, and
Right.
I'm going to keep, just praying that, something does happen for me.
Hmm.
To have patience. Having patience is something that's really big.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's something that's not really spoken on a lot either because, like I say, everything does not come fast. It doesn't come the next day. It may come a month from now, a week, a year,
Right.
2 years, and
Hmm.
that's also, not giving up. Don't give up. Like I say, even 2 years from now, 3 years, you could start a business in 2011, but 2015 might be your breakthrough where your business
Right.
just, explode and escalate to the next level that you never even thought that, would happen.
Exactly.
So definitely, not giving up. What's meant for you will always be meant for you.
Right.
It's not going to miss you. It's not going to bypass you. It's going to do a U-turn. It's going to do a 360. And that's something that people have to understand as well. When things don't work out, it's okay because it's a better plan. God has a better plan for you.
For
You
sure.
want you might want this little teddy bear, but he probably got a big old stuffed teddy bear just waiting, waiting on you.
Absolutely.
So, and
Wow.
one thing that I've always stuck with was trust the process before the promise. And that
Ooh.
saying
Talk
always
about it.
got with me, like it stayed with me forever. Me and my friend was in church in Tally one day, and we
Hmm.
went in church. We was just like, we was like, I don't know what we was going through at the time, but we was just like, what we gonna do, or whatever the case may be. And the pastor was like, trust the process before the promise. And we was like, oh, okay. So this is a part of the process before we get to where we need to be, or before we get to what we want or what's
Hmm.
meant to happen. So definitely, y'all trust the process before the promise. It's okay.
Absolutely.
It's okay to go through. You got to go through to grow. You just have
Absolutely.
to, persevere through everything, and that's your test is your testimony.
Exactly. Oh, you said a mouthful. I want to go back to when you was talking about faith. Um,
Hmm.
I think a lot of times people forget that um, getting past a certain pit of depression, specifically post grad depression, requires an exercise of faith. And one of the things that I talk about in the book is how faith is actually the child. She's the firstborn child of wisdom. And it sounds like so mythical when I discuss it like figuratively because I do tell a story.
Right.
Like Faith is the firstborn child of wisdom. Her and her husband love, wasted no time. They wanted kids as soon as they got married. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's very, very practical. Like it is so practical. The first thing that wisdom teaches us when we go through a tough time is how to have faith, how
Mm-hmm.
to really just trust God.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we are like, man, that's so cliche. If God really wanted me to trust him, he would have made this
Right.
happen already. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Yeah.
he such a big God, he can do no. The development of what it requires for you to last where you're going. Wisdom is going to let you know I got to exercise some faith. And then on top of that, I got
Mm-hmm.
to have some patience, which is
Right.
so important because you have to wait. Whatever God has for you, if it's big enough, He gonna make you wait on
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm reminded of
Exactly.
this story of this dog and this elephant, and it's told on TikTok and Instagram all the time. But long story short, this dog and this elephant got pregnant at the same time, and the dog was able to have baby get pregnant, baby get pregnant, baby get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So many times, and the elephant didn't have their child yet, and so the dog was teasing the elephant like, "I done gave birth 3 times, and you ain't given birth once." And so the elephant finally has her child, and They have another conversation, and the elephant says, "What I was birthing is so big that it makes the earth shake, while your
Right.
babies don't." And it's no, you're not comparison. You're not comparing yourself to anybody. It's no competition, really. It's just what God has for me, what God is birthing in me, is going to require time.
Yeah.
It's going to require time. And so,
Mm-hmm.
so many other stories just come to mind. I used to work as an anesthesia tech in the labor and delivery department at a hospital. And so I was actually in the room during C-sections. And one of the things that always amazed me is right before the baby comes out, there's a moment of silence. The whole room goes silent. I mean, it's like a good 30 to 45 seconds silent. Like everybody in there is quiet.
For a minute.
And I'm like, that's what God is doing in a lot of our lives. When we are giving birth to a dream or we have a goal that we're after and it's about to come to fruition, it gets real, real silent right before the birthday. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to be trusting enough in God. And wisdom tells you to be quiet in those moments because something big is about to happen, something life changing. And it's just this
Mm-hmm.
miraculous moment. After that 45 seconds of silence, this beautiful little baby comes out this womb
All
and
right.
everybody is happy. It's a party. We lit. The surgeons are happy. They doing their job and closing the mom up. And anesthesia is getting the mom prepared to see the baby. And it's just
All
so
right.
dope. But there's that moment of silence that's very, very crucial as the baby is about to be pushed out. I don't want to get too graphic. Everybody in the medical head like me. I love all things anatomy and physiology, so that's my
Right.
niche. But nonetheless, though, so many stories are wisdom speaks so many stories to me, and so many experiences to me when I think about everything that God has shown me how to apply wisdom, specifically in the area of post-grad depression. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen it head multiple times, and now I'm at a point in my life where I can fight it with a different strategy. I can fight it with a different level of wisdom and
Right.
having faith, having patience, and like you said, trusting the process more than the promise is definitely
Before.
a gem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put that note in the phone.
Right.
I'm gonna take that one with me. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So, next question: your philanthropic work is very admirable. What you're doing
Thank you.
with the T Monet Foundation is, like I said, it's more than just scholarships and getting the kids money to go to college. You're changing lives, and it is so dope and so needed everywhere. And so for you to start in South Florida, is just something that makes me proud. It makes me inspired just to be from South
Thank
Florida.
you. I
And
appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to putting on my own philanthropic hat one day and walking into that. And so that part of your life really makes you a wisdom walker. How did the dark seasons of your life propel you to walk into that type of work and serve others?
Honestly, just wanting to give others the opportunity and resources that I feel like I didn't have.
I like that.
You know, before we go to college, a lot of things we aren't prepared for.
Hmm.
So a lot of things I learned myself in college, how to do certain things, how to maneuver, even how to dress for certain conferences or things like that. Because
Right.
in college you're involved in a lot of organizations and things like
Right.
that. So I think it's important for this generation before they go to college to learn those skills and resources so they can be a functioning adult within society and in college. You know,
Absolutely.
I recently had a event at Miami Central High School. That's my alma mater. And so,
Shout out to the Rockets.
right, shout out to the Rockets. And so I had a event. It was called the Reach and Teach Professional Development Seminar.
Uh-huh.
And so I taught them how to dress for an interview. I taught them how to create a resume. I taught them interview questions, just giving them little pinpoints. And, it was for juniors and seniors. And they're at that age where, hey, I could get a job during the summer or, I'm about to start applying for college applications. So I think it's just important to prepare them And a lot of our inner city schools, they don't have that resource available sometimes. Sometimes they don't have it available as a class or anything like that. 'Cause I definitely don't remember doing resume. So, and honestly, I didn't get a job till like my sophomore year in college. That was like my first
Wow.
job ever. So, shout out to my parents. I was a cheerleader. So, I didn't have the worry. So, when I got into college, it was just totally like a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, that's just really what I wanted to do and what I'm going to continue doing. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the word that comes to mind is perspective. You definitely had a perspective of how can I use my experiences to help others in my environment around me? Like, how can I take what I've been doing, what I've been learning, what I have been exposed to, and the wisdom that I've gained to help others? And I think that's what makes you a wisdom walker. So, wisdom's best friend is perspective. And I talk about that in the book, excuse me, and how you have to have the proper perspective, and you get that perspective from different places. You get it from your environment, you get it from your experiences, and then you marry all the things that you've seen, and you're able to not only help yourself but serve others. And I think that the gift of wisdom is the ability to use what you know and apply it to serve other people. And what you're doing in your foundation, the Team Monet Foundation, is just, I'm telling you, like, it's gonna help a lot of
thank you.
lives. It is gonna help a lot of lives,
We're
and
going
I'm
to
excited for
collaborate
it.
one day.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Say the word, and I will drive down 27 and make that happen for sure. For sure, for sure. All right. So next question is, based on your experience, how should a person properly grieve an opportunity? Because post-grad depression really is the manifestation of grief of an opportunity. You saw something
Mm,
that you wanted, you thought that you deserved it, maybe you put in the work to get it, maybe you didn't. But
mm,
you have this experience where you graduate from college, or even I know high schoolers that are going through this, right? You
mhm.
graduate with this expectation in mind, this opportunity in mind, and it doesn't happen. So how do you think that you properly grieve an opportunity?
I'm gonna give you a little story
Okay, I'm listening.
of actually being in an opportunity and like losing it.
Okay.
So I won't say the name or whatever, but um, in 2020, I applied to a job. I got it. It was in my career, so I'm like, okay, I'm fresh out of college. This job is real big in the community, and I'm so excited and things like that. Of course, there was COVID. COVID, and you have all type of complications.
Right, right.
Family members passing from COVID and things like that. People close to you catching COVID, so like
Yeah.
you have to stay out for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of my situation, and I ended up being let go because of how long I stayed out, and also missing a couple tests. So it was so depressing. Like it was so depressing because I'm like, dang, this was my career. I was gonna grow in this. I had plans, ideas,
Yeah.
and things like that. You
Yeah.
know, so I definitely grieved that opportunity because I'm like, what could I have done better? I beat myself up like, what could I have did better? What could have happened? Like, what could I have did different? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But, fast forward to today, I back working for the department and have a way better job than, where I was before, and I love it. It's
Yeah.
not a stressful job. It's some like I love going to work. I do. I don't have a problem waking up at 6 a.m. to go to work.
I feel that. That's what's up.
And that goes back to me saying trust the process before the promise, because I wanted this job. It was cool, but
Mm-hmm.
now the job that I have now is like wow, like you
Yeah.
building so many different relationships with higher ups, and just the opportunities that's being given, and just
Yeah.
getting to know different people from different entities. It's amazing, you know. So and that happened way in 2020, and now we're in 2023. So like I say, you have to have faith and trust the plan. It may not happen now. Like I said, it may not
Mm-hmm.
happen next year, 2 years, and look, we in
Mm-hmm.
2023, 3 years,
Right.
and it took a while, to get there. So grieving the opportunity, I would say never lose hope and faith at all, because you just never know what
Yeah,
God can do. God will bless your mess, okay?
absolutely.
He will bless your
Absolutely.
mess, and He will use your mess to bless others
I
for
like
sure,
that. I
okay?
like that.
So definitely, and I was, even though it feels hard, or the pain of losing an opportunity may be unbearable and things like that, but don't beat yourself up. Like, it's okay. It happens. You got to get back up. You got to keep going. Like I say, it's a part of your test. Your test is your testimony,
For sure.
and so I'm just grateful and thankful that God even gave me the opportunity again, but even at a higher level.
Yeah,
So
I feel that.
just thankful. So just keep going, y'all. Y'all grieving the opportunity, job, school, whatever it is. Like, it's okay. It's gonna come back full circle, but it's gonna come back 30 times better.
Exactly.
Literally, 30
Exactly.
times. I
30
promise
times.
y'all. Like, 30 times.
I like that. Oh man. You know what's crazy? When people hear me talk about what I've been through, and they hear other people like yourself talk about what you've been through, and how you were able to survive it and keep your head up and keep, they think it's easy. They think that you get to a point where as soon as you hit the pit, you bounce back up and you go forward. And it's not that easy. So I don't want people to confuse where you are and where others may be, where I may be, and say, "Oh, they went through that and immediately they jumped up. So let me,
Mhm.
go through your process, feel everything." I'm a big proponent of what therapy teaches. I love going to therapy, right? So my
Right.
therapist teaches me that every feeling that I have is valid. But at some point, you realize I cannot stay here.
Mhm.
In the Bible, there's a story of these leopards, right? Who these guys, four guys, have leprosy, and they are like um, really adamant about getting to a better place. And so they're having a conversation, and long story short, they come to the conclusion that where they are, they can't die. If they stay, the city people gonna kill them, because people who have leprosy it's like a cardinal sin. If you have leprosy, you gonna die. Like, we're gonna kill you on the spot. But if they leave, they may die of the leprosy. But they would
Mhm.
much rather try to get to a better situation, a better place, a better environment than stay where they are. And that's just a testament to keep going. Keep going. Trust the process. It's a process for a reason, and everybody's process is different. So what I had to do for mine and what you had to do for yours may not be the same thing
Mhm.
somebody listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, is going to have to go through. But you'll know your process when you see it, because
Right.
God gonna make you sit in it. Like, He not gonna be the Father that's gonna hold your hand and take you from one glory to the next, when there's something in that first glory that you gotta develop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta
Mhm.
get a level of faith, or a level of perseverance, a level of resilience that only your process can teach you. And so once you get to a point where you felt every emotion and you gotten up and you started to try to walk again, what TraDonn is telling you about how to properly grieve the process and having hope and keeping going, what I'm teaching in my book and through this podcast, is trust the process and take wisdom with
Mhm.
you through that process. The
Right.
wisdom of keep going, the wisdom of not losing hope is not an easy lesson learned. It's not something you easily apply. But you
Mhm.
realize that where I was without the hope, I can't stay there. I can't die in the hopeless land. I gotta get to
Right.
the next place, the next promise that God has for me, and I just gotta keep walking until I see it. Nobody's asking you to
Yeah.
run. Nobody's asking you
Mhm.
to fly there. Like, just keep going. Just keep
Yeah.
going, and
Yeah.
eventually
Everybody has a
you see.
different journey.
Absolutely.
It's never a destination, it's a journey. So,
Ooh, you preaching. You preaching. My
for
favorite book of
real.
2022 is The Alchemist, right? I don't know if you've read that book before, but it's the story of this boy who has this dream of a hidden treasure, but falls in love with the journey of getting to it.
Mhm.
And I don't want to give it away because I encourage everybody I know who is on a journey to read that book, but eventually he learns that where he was is exactly where he was supposed to be. But it was the journey of coming full circle to that first point that made him prepared to handle what it was that was already his.
Right.
So I encourage everybody to go on your journey. Like in the book, I talk about how in the chapter of patience, what you're after may not be for you. It may be for your children. It may be for your children's children. You getting it and enjoying it will be for them. They will be the beneficiaries of what it is that God has for you, the promise that
Right.
you're so desperately after. But what will bless your life is the journey. It's the just the route that you take, the scenery in which you see. And so I used to be one of those people, TraDonn, that was like, I just want to be in. I want my white coat. I don't care what nobody else say. I want my white coat, and that's it. God give me my white coat, and that's gonna be it.
You
And
just
I've
want your
been,
white coat.
I just want my white coat. Listen, everything else is cool. You feel me? But give me the white coat. I
God said,
recently, I recently just learned like, nah, the white coat is gonna happen. I'm gonna get it, right?
mm-hmm.
But me enjoying the white coat, it's not for me. It's for the people that I'm gonna serve. It's for the blessing that will come from that white coat for my family and my children and the generational wealth that I'll be able to have the capital to build from having that white coat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the journey in getting there is my blessing. And so I think about teaching and how, as much as I wasn't a fan of it, the lives in which I've been able to be a part of and the students that I've been able to impact is a blessing for me.
Right.
Coaching, I
Mm-hmm.
love basketball. And I was a jit who wanted to go to the NBA. Like I wanted to put my mom in the house and she gonna be at the game. It's gonna be lit, right?
The
Nah,
NBA dream.
I had hoop dreams for real. And being able to coach the game now is a bigger blessing than I think being a part of the NBA would have been. Don't get me wrong, who doesn't want to play on the biggest stage in the world? But
Right.
seeing kids who never thought about picking up a basketball, learn the game that I love, that's a bigger blessing for me. And it's all a part of my journey now to get to that white coat. And so while I may hold my head down or could hold my head down on being in a certain part of my journey, it's getting through it and getting to the promise and everything that I see along my way that's really blessing my life right now. And that's what makes me have this
Mm-hmm.
attitude of gratitude. Like one of my friends she say, I'm just happy to be here. Like, and that's really my attitude with it. Like, I'm
Right.
just happy to be here. Like, everything that God has shown me, everything that I've been a part of, it just makes me happy to be here. So that's really
Mm-hmm.
where I'm at with it. Like, for real,
I
just
agree. That's how I feel when I coach. Oh yeah, I'm a varsity cheerleading coach for my
yeah,
alma mater. So that's how I feel as well. I'm able to pour back into the girls and give back to them, and just guide them because a lot of this generation is lost, lost.
they
Okay,
are.
and it's just so refreshing to pour back into them and to give them what I was taught, as a young girl and to see them grow. Like right now, I have two mentees, Kylie and Soraya, and they are now going to college and seeing them grow from when I initially began coaching them, like from a
Mm-hmm.
freshman year, and now they're at FSU and FAU. That's just so like heartwarming to me because
Yeah,
it's like, I accomplished what I needed to do with them.
absolutely.
I feel like I did, and I'm so proud of them because and they graduated a year early too, from high school, college classes, everything. So I'm just happy that I was a part of that journey and able to help them get to the next level,
I
you know.
like that. I like
So
that. Shout out to them.
and that's right. Shout out to Kylie and Soraya, but definitely that's why I have my foundation because
Hmm.
of things like that. Like for example, I have
Absolutely.
my book scholarship where I give back to students that graduated,
Hmm.
attended 4-year universities, and I'm just thankful to be able to pour into them to help buy some books. You
Right.
know, So
Right.
things that I had, I'm giving back, and that's just what it's about. It's all about
Absolutely.
giving back to the generation, and just pouring back into them and giving them what we learned. So,
Absolutely. My therapist reminded me one time, like in one of my like first sessions, I want to say it was like maybe session 5 or 6 with him. I was telling him about everything that I, had aspirations of doing, like starting a nonprofit and being able to be a philanthropist and maybe having an AAU team in which I coached, and I wanted to do that for my son, and I wanted to be able to buy everybody team jerseys and all this kind of stuff, right? He was
right.
like, I was like, but I'm gonna do that when I make it. That was the I kept saying. I'm gonna do it when I make it. I'm gonna do this. When I make it, I'm gonna do that. And he was like, bruh, like he's a black dude. So shout out to all the black therapists out there, especially the black
Okay,
man therapists,
okay.
because they raw. I'm telling you. So he was like, bruh, stop saying that. I was like, what you mean? Like, I'm just speaking my truth. I get it. He was like, I get it. But stop waiting until you see a dollar amount to consider yourself making it. Man, you made it
Hmm.
because you're alive and God gave you the vision to do it. He
Exactly.
said, if you wait, you're going to miss the blessing to help somebody. Maybe the people that you are supposed to be helping right now are these people. So don't wait until you feel like you've made it to help
Hmm.
or to do these things, because it's in front of you now. And maybe now is the time. And so I took on
Yeah.
all the other projects that I would have put off until I made it, to just say yes now. Just say
Hmm.
yes now. And now I'm in a position to have all of these experiences along my journey that have just been a blessing to my life. And I used to be like, I don't want to get distracted, but these aren't distractions. They are a
Hmm.
part of the journey. They
Yeah.
are a part of what God has me doing now, and they are an assignment. And me saying yes to the assignment is my success, not
Hmm.
a white coat. The white coat will be celebrated, but now success is defined as my ability to just say yes and accomplish the assignments in front of me. And so shout out to you
Hmm.
for accomplishing the assignments in front of you, because you definitely helping a lot of people. All right, so we're down
Definitely.
to our last question of the podcast that I have planned for you. Which of the ingredients of being a wisdom walker? So we talk about strategy, patience, and intentionality. Those are the three ingredients of what it takes to be a wisdom walker. Which
Hmm.
one of those, or which of those, because you can choose more than one, do you find is your strongest, and which are you currently working towards right now?
I have two.
Okay.
So patience and intentionality.
Okay.
I would say patience is my strongest. I have gained a lot of patience over the
Shout out to,
years.
shout out to
Okay,
you.
patience is has listen. It's been a journey. Okay,
I got you.
but
I feel it. Believe
it's
me, I
it's
feel it.
it's it's something that you have to have. Like
Yeah,
you cannot not have patience.
for
If
sure.
you don't have patience, you're gonna fumble. Like you can't rush everything. Like you say, that 45-second, 30-second silence, yes, that's your patience, being
Exactly.
patient, you know?
Hmm.
Like the development of the baby, 9 months. A woman have to be patient before she see her child,
Exactly.
you know? So definitely patience is my strongest now
Hmm.
because I've learned and understand that everything not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen in
Exactly.
a week. It's not gonna happen in a month. So just
Yeah.
being in a season of acceptance and being patient and waiting for what's mine because
Yeah.
God already wrote the book and this is where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
So, just
Exactly.
understanding that and accepting that. I would say that I am working on intentionality, just being more intentional with friendships, relationships, jobs,
Hmm.
like anything that comes my way. I just want to be more intentional,
Hmm.
more sacred and things like that. So,
I like that. I like that.
definitely.
Okay.
And I feel like, being intentional is more valued because
Yes.
it's, you have a reason for why you're doing this or why you're doing that or, why you with this person. So, definitely
Intentionality
intentionality.
is
Hmm.
it sets you apart from people who just doing whatever, you know.
Right. Mhm.
There's so many people in this world that are doing whatever, and intentions. Okay, so I'm gonna say it this way. You know how people talk about women that intimidate them? Like, oh, this person, this person, like, dudes will say, oh, this girl, bro, like, she intimidated me. And I've heard dudes say that, or I've heard women say that dudes told them that. And I'd be like,
Mhm.
I sit back and I listen. I'm like, you scared of, why you scared of that? But you know what it is?
Right.
The women that most dudes are afraid of are the most intentional. They move with intention.
Mhm.
And it works vice versa. Like you wouldn't imagine how many times I've heard women say to me, "Oh, I'm afraid of you," or
What?
like I'm scared of you. And I sit back and I ask, I'm like, why you scared of me? Like, why you scared of me? What I did to you? Like, I've been me the whole time. Like, this is what it is.
Right.
But what I think people are afraid of is the fact that I move with intention. I'm not
Mhm.
going to do everything. Even if my intentions are just to speak and say hello to you or have a conversation or just get to know you as a person. My intentions are not to date you. My intentions are not to take you home to my family. You take me home to yours. You could be a phenomenal person, but my
Right.
intentions are my intentions, and I
Mhm.
lead intentionally. Like that's just how I move. I move with straight intentions, and people are afraid of people who move with intentions. Why?
Mhm.
Because everybody don't. You know it. Like I
That's
get this all
true.
the time. You know what you want. You right. I know what I want. I know exactly what I want. I know what I'm working towards, and I move with intention. So if I were to answer that question for myself, I would say that
Mhm.
intentionality is probably the strongest that I have because I know what I want and I do what it takes to get what I want.
Mhm.
The one that I'm
That's
weak at
good.
is patience. I suck at patience. And I'm working on it. I am currently working on it. I think God has me in a season of patience. And I'm getting better. I can say that I'm getting better. So I don't
Mhm.
suck anymore.
It
I'm
will
just
over time. Over
over time,
time.
I'm getting better. But in the book,
Mhm.
you know, I talk about how I learned what patience was exercised and how wisdom
Mhm.
taught me what patience was exercised through my mom. And so, um, what y'all call them? What y'all call them? Lily dillies or
Right.
frozen cups or flip cups or
Frozen
something.
cups. Okay.
They're not a frozen cup. They're
Frozen
called a
cup.
squeeze. They're called a
It's
squeeze.
a frozen cup.
I'm gonna let you call it what you want
Everybody,
to
it's
call
a
it.
frozen cup. It's
I'm
not a lily dilly or whatever.
it's
It's
called
a
a
frozen cup,
squeeze. It's a
y'all.
squeeze.
It
It's a
is
squeeze.
a frozen cup.
It's a
That's what it's
squeeze.
called.
I'm gonna let you have it though. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. But my mom used to make those all the time. You know, in South Florida, it's hot year round. Like we probably
Hmm.
get 2 3 weeks of 65-degree weather out the whole
Barely.
year.
Because that's
Barely
only in the
that.
morning.
You feel me? By 11 o'clock, it's 80 degrees again. But she used to make those all the time, especially in the summertime. And so I was never good at it. Because when I put it in the freezer and I go outside to play for an hour or 30 minutes, I expect to
Mhm.
come back and that thing be frozen. And, and I wasn't trying to hear no excuses because in my mind, I'm outside playing football and I done ran for 250 yards. I done scored 4 touchdowns. I done had 3 interceptions with a pick six. I done did everything. So when I come back, my reward is that squeeze. And life don't work
Frozen
that way.
cup.
Whatever. Whatever. But my reward was that. It was the squeeze. And I'm going to put squeeze in all caps. Because that's exactly what it is. But I wanted that at the end of my time of me doing what it was. And it never worked. I had a cold cup
Hmm.
of juice, a nice cold cup of Kool-Aid. And
Hmm.
if I was lucky, a little slush at the bottom of it. But I never was able to make the full thing. And my mom showed me how you have to take your mind off of what it is that you truly are working on or wanting and go work on something that God has in front of you. And just take your mind off of it for a little bit. And Patience for me is working the wait, working while you wait on God to open that next door.
Right.
And I'm grateful that the podcast that I'm able to bring on tremendous guests like yourself and all the other guests that I've been able to have allowed me to see how special it is to work your way, how
Hmm.
valuable it is to work your way. And so patience is the one that I'm working on. I ain't perfect.
I feel like
I got some work to
I
do.
feel like you appreciate it more, when you wait and you go through the journey. Like you appreciate the outcome more.
Absolutely, absolutely. And instead of waiting with anxiety of when is it gonna come, when is it gonna come, when is it gonna come, like just remind yourself. There's a meme that I posted on Instagram this week. Sometime you're going
Mm.
to win. Stop worrying about the win. So you're gonna win. Stop worrying about the WHEN. It's gonna
Right.
happen. It's like you gonna win. So
Hmm.
just I gotta remind myself, like, keep pushing. Let's just keep pushing, keep going on the journey. Enjoy what it is that's in front of you, and eventually you'll be exactly where God wants you to be.
Hmm.
Exactly where God wants you to be. And like you said, it'll be
Definitely.
30 times
Maybe
better
time.
than what you were expecting. So that concludes our episode today. I do have one final question. You are going to get your author copy of the book that will be
Oh,
sent to you
thank
as
you.
soon as possible. Tell me one thing you're looking forward to about reading about in this book.
I'm looking forward to reading it. You said there's a chapter regarding patience.
There is a
Yes,
whole chapter dedicated to
I'm looking
patience.
forward to that. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, okay.
Definitely.
Hey, that chapter is full of stories and learned lessons. So I'm
Definitely looking forward to it.
I think everybody who reads it, you're going to get all you're looking for and more. But
I
that concludes
cannot
our
wait.
episode. Absolutely, it's gonna happen. I'm excited. So that concludes our episode for today. TraDonn, thank you again for
You
joining
are
the
welcome.
podcast and being just tremendous conversation. I look forward to hearing more about your journey and collaborating with you to make anything the T Monet Foundation needs happen on my end. I'm definitely willing to make that happen for y'all.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for having me.
of course, of course, of course, of course. Um, y'all go get my book. Go get
Yes,
this,
go get it now.
please.
If you
Now
say it's on Amazon,
it's on
go on
Amazon and Audible.
Amazon. Go get it. Audible. Go get it
Go
today,
get that
right now.
today, right now, right now. But until next time, man, I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for time again. Just check the numbers. We are at 25 subscribers on the podcast, and I just started this thing 2 months ago. Not even a month ago. Like, bruh, y'all are lit, man. I'm telling you, all glory be to God. Like, this is amazing. Over 500 views already. Like, y'all showing out, man. So keep sharing, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep commenting. All of this is welcome. Like, just share everything I post on social media. Share it. If it touch you, share it. If it don't, still share it. You know what I'm saying? just letting people know what's going on,
Just
man.
share,
But
y'all. Share.
please, gotta get the message out there, man. But I love you guys. Until next time.